Hi guys, welcome to my first YouTube video. My name is Gitika and today we'll be talking about the basic requirements for oil painting. So I actually wanted to talk about this topic because I have been painting, especially oil painting, for ever since I can remember, and had the opportunity to learn from really talented artists. So I really feel that I wanted to share it with everyone who are fearful of even grabbing a brush and starting to do it, because I've seen people like that in my life and I want to make it easier for you guys. And I chose oil painting because I feel like it's a very forgiving medium as compared to the others, because it allows you to correct in as many layers as possible, and so you can get the best possible result, and it gives a very nice finish to the painting. So I feel that was the main key thing that pulled me towards oil painting. So let's not waste time and get started. So the first thing we're going to need obviously are oil paints. You can purchase them as a set from your nearby art supply stores or buy individual colors. I usually prefer to buy a set because it allows you to mix a lot of colors and make a lot of colors out of them, so it gives you a very wide variety. You can also choose to buy it individually, but I feel like they are really expensive to buy them individually because they are really big tubes. They're almost 37 ml. If you are a beginner, which is why you're probably watching this video, you can start with a student grade oil paints. There are two types: student grade and artist grade. Artist grade are for people who are on an advanced level. They require more paint. If you're a beginner, I would recommend using student grade because they are a little bit cheaper than the artist grade and they will finish faster. I think it'll be a really good investment if you buy it from shops like Staples or Michaels. I personally did not like Dale Rowney when I bought it from Staples because it was a very shiny finish, but I would recommend Artist Loft. Also, make sure you buy a big tube of white because it gets used a lot. You will find that out when you start painting more often. Alright, the next thing we need is linseed oil. You can get this in various bottles. Mostly I would recommend buying a plastic bottle so it doesn't break if it falls. Even a small bottle will go a long way. You can finish many paintings with just one bottle. I would say about easily more than 30 paintings with just 4 ounces. So choose whichever one that fits you. I personally like the Demco brand because they're really easy to open, because a lot of linseed oil bottles I have seen do not open and I struggle to open them. So I think this brand is a really good brand for linseed oil. So linseed oil is usually used to smooth out the textures, to make even lines, and usually used after the first coat of paint is applied. I'll talk more about this later in a video where I demo it to you. So the next thing we require is a dissolvent or solvent for your brushes. You need to clean your brushes. You can clean them with soap and water, but I really prefer a solvent that is made specifically for them. You can use kerosene, as I did in my earlier days of painting, but just because it has a very strong odor, I found something that is odorless, and it's called Taltine, again by Demco. A really nice brand, as I said. Also, try and keep this away from children because it looks like water, but and as I said, it's odorless. Make sure you use them in small airtight containers like this so it doesn't spill when you're using it. Use it as little as possible. So you can just pour it in here. You can use your brushes in here and clean them. Don't use the whole bottle at once. A very important tip while oil painting is to be in a good ventilated room. Make sure your windows are open so that you are not inhaling these fumes for a really long time. So the next thing you need, obviously, again, are brushes. You need to know the types of brushes you require for the different angles or the different textures you want to add. The first I would recommend are the thin brushes like these. I'll show you zoomed in, and these range from numbers 0 to 8, I think 0 to 4, 6, 8, like that, and they increase as the number goes. They are really important to get when you have to go into details. They're really important when you have to get into details like small dots or filling in the whites. The next important brush are flat brushes. Also they come in many sizes. You can have like big flat brushes or really small flat brushes. The big flat brush I would use to cover more area if you have a bigger canvas or if you're painting a sky, as in just blending everything out. I would use smaller flat brushes to make straight lines, or when you're making clouds, it's easier to dab and give a really dotted texture. I would also suggest to get a flat angled brush because that also helps to make really straight lines. So these are the few brushes that I would recommend. You can buy them in as many sizes as you like. You will probably would realize the kind of brushes you want as you go further in your experience of oil painting, but these are the few to begin with. So get at least 10 to 12 of them so you are not constantly cleaning them. You have another plain brush to mix colors, and then another brush to pick it up and then start painting. To manage them more easily, you can get a pencil roll like this, which is easier for me to carry all my brushes in it. It can hold a lot, and I will probably link this in the description box if you would like to purchase one of these, or you can find it in any of the stores near you like Staples or Michaels. Next important thing are palettes. I mostly use plastic palettes because they're easier to clean later on, so you can just take the color off when they have dried off and start afresh. Or you can use melamine bowls or plates, whichever is available for you. Right, so the next thing is canvas. They come in various sizes, and two basic types are the stretched canvas, where you can see there's a hollow place in here with the wooden frame at the back, and it's just stretched out on the frame. Another type is just a plain cardboard kind of canvas, so there's nothing, it's just flat. I would recommend the flat ones more because firstly they are easier to frame later on. I mean, the stretched ones aren't bad, but the only thing is when you're holding them, you tend to press through on the back so that this part bulges out a little bit, and then it seems really ugly later on. But if you are careful enough, they're basically the same. So start with smaller canvases if you're a beginner, and you can go to bigger canvases when you are a pro. The next would be an easel. I don't really use an easel, it's optional, but I usually find it easier to work on a table like this with newspaper, old newspaper underneath, so I don't get the table dirty. If you would like any easel, I would recommend talking to an art professional and on any of the stores that you go to purchase your art products, and they would be able to help you more on that. Well, the last thing, which is probably the first thing you would use, is a pencil and an eraser to start drawing on your canvas. It's totally optional if you want to draw. I would recommend that you draw before you paint, because it's easier to find out if you are, going in the wrong direction. Usually people, if they're making a more abstract one, they usually won't draw, but depends on the kind of painting you are doing. And you can use any pencil you like. Use any lighter pencils. If you don't, use a very gentle hand so that it's easier to erase them, because if you tend to erase on a canvas a lot, it could leave a lot of black patches, so use as gentle as a hand as you can while drawing. The few more important tips that I have is always keep your brushes clean. Use a rag or an old rag to clean your brushes than paper towels or tissues, because that's easier, and you can keep using the same rag for a long period of time until it really smells like, or if you're using odorless Taltine, probably won't, but use it as much as you can. So the correct way to clean your brushes would be probably dip it into the Taltine solution and then use the rag to gently go in and clean like this. Not on your hand, but if you had a rag, probably clean it out like this. Take out all the solution from it and then just dry it horizontally on your pencil case, or probably just hang it somewhere like this so that it dries completely. Do not put the linseed oil or the Taltine solution down the sink, down the drain, because that's not very healthy for the sink. Probably dispose it off in a metal or a glass jar. So the basic way oil painting works, after you have purchased all of this and you are ready, you will start in layers. It's always in layers, because you will not use the oil in the first coat. You will just start by painting with your oil paint and paint the entire canvas wherever you think the colors are going to go. And then once it has dried, which is probably 1 to 2 days if it's dry weather, 3 or 4 days if it's humid, and then you can start painting again using the oil. So the reason why oil painting takes a long time, because it has to dry between layers. So keep that in mind. If you have to blend anything, blend it while it's wet, and then wait for it to completely dry before you add on your next layer or add on any more details to it. And I would say store it in a place where no one is bound to touch it, so that people don't go by touching it, and if it's wet, it might get ruined in that spot. So yeah, that's it for today. And if you want to know more, if you want to still keep going and learn more about oil painting, subscribe to my channel and wait for new videos. Thank you.